All good. So in the last module, we studied a bit about the business environment and how our projects are related to the business strategy and the vision, mission, and how do we achieve that with the help of the projects. Now it's the initiation of the project, and PMI has came to our guidance. They gave us a bit list of processes that need to be followed when we need to initiate a process, just like identifying the stakeholders, and we need to make sure that we set up a project charter. So to make sure that we have the right resources before we begin with the project. And also, if you remember, we touched bit about which project management approach we should follow, either predictive, iterative, incremental, agile. So we will have a detailed discussion around that as well. So what do you do when you start a project? Normally, you need to know who you need to engage with, who are the people who will be working with you. So PMI has given us a process called identify stakeholders. So they say that, okay, from the right beginning, this is an important task that you should identify who is having a stake in this project, who will be pro project, who will be against the project. So you need to identify people who has got either positive stake in your project, or they might have got negative stake on your project. So the first topic, and the very important topic from the exam perspective and from the PMP or project management perspective, would be that who are our stakeholders. So uh, so if we look about our stakeholders, we will find our stakeholders internally to the organization, just like our project team, any other functional managers, or the end users who for whom we are doing the project. It might be any process that we are improving, or it might be a new system that we are procuring, or it might be any business goal that we want to achieve, or new product that we want to produce. So whoever will be helping us to achieve this project, I mean, to give us the requirements, to help us achieve the goals of the project, these are the people who are positive stakeholders. Like, they are pro projects, they want us to succeed because they are ultimate beneficiary in this regards. Like, if we are bringing a system for, let's say, our sales staff is our stakeholder, because ultimately our new system will be used by sales staff. So typically, the internal stakeholders are the people who will be providing you the requirements, who will be testing a new system, who will be using a new system, and any other subject matter experts who you are having in your organization, such as functional managers, any consultants, and so. But if you talk about external environment, you will also have some stakeholders because they will ultimately you will depend on them. And if you go beyond, then all the government bodies like custom regulatory bodies, and these will also become your stakeholders, because ultimately you need all the external approvals if the project work involve something related to government matters. So your stakeholders influence, like as a PM, you need to influence all these stakeholders. Now it should be vertical, horizontal, downwards. What do I mean by this? Now, if you look in your own project team, you need to have influence on your project team, which is downwards. Like, you look towards them, they look towards you for the support. So it's pretty much the influence that you will exert towards your team will be downwards. Now, what do? You need some support from your top management as well. So you need to exert some influence upward. So it will be like to your managers, functional managers, any other PMO department, your steering committee. These are the areas where you will influence, or these are the structures in the organization which you will influence upward. So if I need to draw this, it will be like, I am seeking support when I am exerting my influence as a PM within the organization. I'm influencing the managers and PMOs and any senior VP director. So these are the people who I'm asking for support. And then if I look downwards, I am influencing my team, which is my team, which may include the testers, developers, anyone in my team. It may be a IT team for a software development project, then it will have business analyst, it will have testing team, developer team, so on. If it's a construction project, then the team will comprise of different skill set. So the team will comprise of different skill set, depend on what kind of project I am doing. In fact, now if I look rightward, I also have some room to influence. If I look leftward, also I have some room to influence, because this is horizontal influence. It might be the other PMs to whom I need to talk, right, left, whichever way. So these are my peers, my peer PMs. They are working on other projects, but I may need support from them, and they may need support from me, because you remember the principle of project management, which says that we need to be aware, or we need to be recognizing the system interactions. Like, we work in a holistic system, and there are other people who are doing projects in the same organization. So we are dependent on them, they are dependent on us for some or other deliverables. So since we are working in the same organization, So we have the area of influence on the other PMs as well, and they are also influencing us the same way. So these are the and external. I mean, if there is a third dimension, it would be the suppliers, contractors, where I also need to exert influence as a PM, because these are the people who will provide me the resources, any vendors which I work with. So they will also be where I will be exerting influence on them. So pretty much everyone is a stakeholder. I remember this statement that who is a stakeholder? Everyone is a stakeholder. Sometimes people who are part of, let's say, another community, like you are part of a community A, and you are working on a project for community A. So everyone will be the stakeholder who is part of the community A. But let's say if there is another community which is community B, which is somewhere far away from your project, where maybe your project is a park. You are building a park for a community A. So if you're building a park for community A, then the people who are resident of community A are your stakeholders. However, resident of community B are not your stakeholders, because they are not going to benefit from this park, considering that this is city A or town A, and this is city B. This is another city. So definitely people who does not belong to that community, they are not part of your project, and then they are not your stakeholders. Other than this, in your council, in your organization, everyone, pretty much everyone is your stakeholder, because they have got a stake in your project. Either they will be the ultimate beneficiary, or they will let you complete your project by supporting you in one way or another way. I think I directly jumped to the topic of stakeholders, but do you guys have any questions?
No, it's okay. It's straightforward. Thank
you. Oh, good. So now once we identify the stakeholders, we have a big task ahead, that we need to categorize these stakeholders and understand these stakeholders bit in more detail. Like, are they influential stakeholders? Do they have got any power? Where do they exist in the organization? Are they managers or senior managers, or maybe do what they can do for us? So this is important question, that I have a project and I have an objective. I want to finish it. I want to complete it within the time. I want to make sure that I deliver every single aspect of it, and I need to deliver within the all the budget constraints. So now, who can help me to get it done? So I need to know these people in bit more detail. Like, do they have power? Do they have interest in my project? So these are certain areas which I need to explore. So first thing is, I need to identify all those people, and I will make my own register. I call it stakeholder register. And in the stakeholder register, I will start with entering the details like, okay, I identified a stakeholder, he belongs to certain department. So I will just mention his name, stakeholder, and then I will mention their name, let's say. So I will start with very basic, like, this is my stakeholder register and I have got a name. But who is he? Which department they belong to, let's say. Okay, so if I know a bit about their position, then it is better, because I will understand that where in the hierarchy this stakeholder works. Like, he is a manager, senior manager, who is he? Or department, is it HR or whatever, finance, engineering, whatever, etc. And then the stakeholder name, let's say, sorry, John. Okay, maybe the spellings are not okay. So now, most importantly, what I would be interested in, are they interested in my project, or are they aware of my project? We don't know what is the status. What is their current engagement level? So like, I need to identify, are they interested, are they aware, or what is their engagement level, current engagement level? Like, I need to know the current engagement level, so that I can derive some strategy to make them more interested, more aware. So if definitely they have got the power, because position gives the power, right? So I would also have my desired engagement level. So this will be my target. I'll keep in mind that, let's say, I will put it here, current engagement, desired engagement. So they might be unaware, they might be interested, they might be resistant, I don't know. They might be supportive, I don't know. So I need to know that what is the status of the stakeholder. Is he positive stakeholder or negative stakeholder? So if he or she is resistant, then definitely I will classify them as some people who I need to be very careful, because they will do everything possible so that the project should not succeed. Maybe this is an example of a stakeholder which, let's say you are constructing a bridge, and then your bridge, this is a project which will require a lot of sacrifices for the people. Maybe their land will be required, or maybe acquired by the government, because they need to leave it, because it will be used for the bridge construction. Maybe there will be school, there will be there, it is personal property, but they have to give away because the government want to construct the bridge. And then so those people, villagers, would become the negative stakeholders, right? So they would be resistant. So So what would be my strategy for these type of stakeholders would be that I want to neutralize them. So I want to maybe neutral. So maybe my desired strategy would be that I want to neutralize them. Like at least they should not be resistant, or they should be. Uh, I should find number of ways how I would neutralize these stakeholders, but that's another topic. But at least my strategy would be that I would be working hard so that these people should not be resistant anymore. So just like that, if there is a powerful guy within the finance or HR or engineering department who has got power, but he's not interested in your project, not interested. So uh, what would be your strategy? That you want to increase the engagement with that person, because at least you want them to be supportive to your project because they've got the power which you need, and that power will you need to leverage that power so that you can move this guy to at least support you so that you can push forward your project objectives. So yeah, so my stakeholder register will have stakeholder name, department, and then I will keep on identifying where is he in the hierarchy of the organization. Does he got any power? Does he got any interest in our project? What is his current engagement? What is my target desired engagement? And so on. So maybe I will also capture as many details as possible, like maybe contact details, email, phone number, whatever. So that will be my quick list of stakeholders, and then my own assessment of them and my own plans that what I want to do with this stakeholder. So this will be my stakeholder register. So it's the very first document that you need to prepare once you start your project. And secondly, you will be worrying about your engagement strategy. That, yeah, I understand my stakeholder now. What is the way forward to deal with this kind of stakeholders? So I'm going to see him daily, weekly, how often I will engage with them, and with what information I will engage with them. So when it comes to information, then I need to also devise some communication plan, like what is their preferred way of communicating with them. Maybe certain people are interested in written information in a report, that they are comfortable if you send them a report and that's it. Maybe certain people want you to walk in and talk with them and tell them, brief them what's happening on the project. So it depends on the communication requirements. So we need to devise separate plans for separate people, and that comes under the communication management plan. The stakeholder engagement assessment matrix, pretty much same what I just included as part of my stakeholder register. This area is the stakeholder engagement assessment. This area which I just highlighted, it's my stakeholders engagement assessment, and it could be. We will see the template as we move on, and then we will also identify the stakeholders or classify the stakeholders based on how much power and influence they have: high power, high interest, low interest. So it could be interest level at one axis and then power at the other axis. So the people who are in this quadrant, they have got low power, low interest. People here have got high power, high interest. So these are the matrices that we will be seeing. It may be interest power, it may be influence power, regardless. People who fall under high power, high interest, you need to work carefully with them. You need to engage them daily basis. But people who are having low power, they are very low in the hierarchy and they have got no interest in your project, then you, from your engagement strategy point of view, you might not need to work harder on them. I mean, they can't do much for you, so you just need to keep them informed about your project progress. So we'll see a couple of these matrices. So now, well, from where do I know who are my stakeholders? So remember, so far you have arrived as a PM, and you know that there are certain documents which do exist, and these are business case and benefit management plan. So, so the first strategy that would be is the documentation review. So you will do the documentation review so that you can identify who are my stakeholders, who I'm going to deal with. So that documentation review, for example, review your business case, review your benefit management plan, look for any RFP. If it is done as part of the project, look for any proposal, anything that is contract, any contract in place. Maybe you will find that this project is contracted or subcontracted to certain vendors and suppliers. So those contracts will let you or maybe help you to identify your list of stakeholders. So what do you need to do to identify stakeholders? Number one strategy would be documentation review. What kind of documents? Any RFP that is in place, any contract that is in place. I mean, not RFP. I think RFP is a request for proposal, but you need to look what are the proposals that you received, from who you received prior to this project. What are those proposals that you received? And did we contracted any of those vendors? I mean, did we accept any proposal and then did we contracted for that particular supply of system, goods, material, whatever? So those documents will really help you to identify your stakeholders. And once you identified them, then you will go in between more detail that what is their current interest level, involvement level, what do they need from the project and what do you need from them, and what is their current influence level and how they can influence your project, like they can impact project success positively or negatively, whatever kind of impact they can have on your project. So most important task for you as a PM would be that you need to identify and then start engaging with your stakeholders as early as possible, because once the project is started, execution is going on or planning is done, And certain stakeholders will emerge that late in the project, or you identified that late in the project, then it would be very awkward situation because they might have a lot of requirements which you might not have incorporated. So what you will do, your project is going on without considering a important stakeholder and their requirements are missed. So scope is missed, no planning done. That's a scenario which nobody would like to be in. So identify your stakeholders as early as possible so that you don't have surprises later on. And once you have identified, then you need to engage with them. But how to identify? You need to do the documentation review. What kind of documents? Such as contracts, proposals, business case document, benefit management plan, and so on. Any question, guys?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, George.
When you were explaining about getting all the consent, knowing who all the stakeholders are, some of the times there could be a stakeholder that doesn't want the project management to be going on or isn't supportive of it. Now I look at that as like, well, if a business case for a project management is getting written in the first place, that's obviously a positive for the business because it's going to help the business out. So why would one of the stakeholders not be supportive? I don't like that part is a little confusing to me because if I was a business owner and I'm having somebody do a project management for my business, why wouldn't I be supportive of it in the first place?
Yeah, so it's a good question. So the thing is, your competitors in the market are still your stakeholders, but they don't want to see you succeeding, right?
How are they still a stakeholder?
Because they have an influence in your project. Because look, the competitors as well are the players in the same market where you are working with. Like, for example, you have a supplier and they have a contract with you that they cannot they cannot provide the services. They have signed inclusivity agreement with you, or maybe they have signed inclusivity agreement with some other your competitor as well, right? So in that case, there is conflict of interest. So those people can also limit your choices, right?
Okay.
I mean, there can be some stakeholders in the market which you need to be careful of, because definitely they want to bring their products uh, faster and better and before you in the market, right? So they will do everything they can to surpass you. Yeah.
I think it's the way that I'm looking at a stakeholder. Now I understand it a little bit better. A stakeholder isn't just a business money owner of the business. A stakeholder can also be a supplier of your business.
Correct.
So I got to define stakeholder a little bit, but now I understand it a little bit better.
Yeah, that's a good dimension actually. What you ask is a good question. Yeah. So how they can negatively influence you is actually we need to think about in a competitive way. Yeah. True. Yeah. So now when we identified them, so as I said, we need to assess them. So a direct way would be that we set up a one-to-one meeting with them. We prepare for those meetings. We prepare some direct or indirect questions through surveys, or we call for example brainstorming session with those stakeholders, just formal, informal, to get to know them in much more detail. I mean, much more uh, so to get to know them. So the two techniques are like we set up one-to-one interview and then we prepare for those interviews and we prepare our questionnaires or surveys ahead of them. We can share with them those surveys if there are digital surveys or the questionnaires through emails, or we call for a group discussion or brainstorming session with them so that we could get to know them better. Maybe any group exercise or maybe any informal dinner, anything would be better to assess them. Now, uh, the process that we are in is called stakeholder analysis, because what we are trying to know is that what is in this project for them, what is their stake in this project. So my goal would be that I need to identify are they really excited about this project, what is their interest level. So same metrics I would be using and classifying these stakeholders, that where is he standing right now? Like, is he unaware? Definitely the project is new, it's obvious that they would be unaware. What is their interest level? Like, where are they standing? With us, against us? What is their, are they resistant, neutral, interested, excited, whatever? So I need to keep filling my boxes, keep filling my information boxes. Like, I will be talking, I will be talking about the project, and I will be assessing them, that based on their reactions, I will be assessing that they are taking interest or they are walking away or like that. So this will be my analysis going on within my mind and my own sheet that I will be filling later on. So other than this, the document analysis, as I said, that it will be helpful for identifying the stakeholders as well as assessing stakeholders, because with the document, you will also know some hierarchy and you will know a lot of more details about the stakeholders. Now, how you represent this information, once you already have identified, then you can represent it in a kind of a grade that I made earlier. And this grade is just low to high, and it could be anything. Like I said, it could be your power in one quadrant, I mean, in one dimension, and then it could be your interest or influence in the other dimension. So it could be your interest or influence. And then this will be high or low. So strategies would be same. Anyone falling here, you need to work closely with them, work closely. And anyone falling here, still they have got a lot of influence, so you need to engage with them. You need to keep them involved. At least you need to keep them involved, because you want these people who have limited power, but they have got a lot of interest, so you need to leverage on that. So you will keep them involved. People here, you will keep them informed only because they have no power and they have less interest. People here have got a lot of power and they are not interested. Sorry, yeah. Go ahead.
Just a quick question. In the business, who is the one person that has the ideas? Who's the one that comes up with the idea in the first place?
Yeah. Now, it could be R&D department, research and development department, because definitely some ideas are generated, or most of the product ideas are generated by engineering, and then the R&D department. They are the initiators of those, but they need to go through a lot of rigorous review with the board or with the department heads to actually sell these ideas. That we are thinking about a new product. This product will have excellent features, but what are the business benefits of this product? This will be there will be a lot of debate around that, and then business case would be written. Like, okay, there are some costs involved, but there are some benefits involved. So from where does these ideas originate? It could be a product department or R&D department, because they are like innovative people, okay? Otherwise, marketing department, because marketing department, they have insights from the market. Like marketing department is getting insights, what market is doing, what our competitors are doing. And then they also push the management that, okay, look, we need to benchmark, otherwise we will leave behind. If we will not do these initiatives or of service offerings, our products will be off the shelf sooner. So we need to act fast. So what shall we do? We need to initiate more products, more projects, more exciting offers, or more features that our competitors are not offering as of moment or planning.
So would that be identifying the stakeholders that make the decision right off the bat in the first place, because they're the ones that are initiating the project management. So they're obviously on your side right off the bat.
True. So if the thing is that project management is happening within each, remember we studied about a functional organization. There is no title holder called project manager. So it means functional teams do also have projects, but functional managers are actually the project managers. So they sponsor those projects. But the structure that we are now talking about, like, is, well, organization want to do many things, but they don't have a PM. So a PM is hired, and then he's tasked to lead this project. Now he will start with, again, those business case documents, and he will definitely approach the departments who actually initiated these projects actually, and from where it got these, sponsored. So he will dig deep and he will identify, yeah, where is the source of power for this project? Is it a marketing project or R&D project? And then he will take it from there as, his stakeholders. I hope I answered your question. George, any more question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, all good.
Yes,
Gigi.
Hello. I need to understand one more thing. So to look into the business case, then we need to find out the stakeholders exactly in the real scenario. We need to go with the research and development department to find out the exact stakeholders. Actually, finding out the stakeholders, like exact stakeholder, you need to in real scenario. Otherwise, there are many people who are in the position in power. There are many who works in the team. So how can you find out who is the best one?
Yeah. So Fatima, thank you for the question. If I understand your question clearly, it means that although we are part of the organization and we know that the hierarchy and the structure of the organization, so why we specifically need to consider the business documents like business case or benefit management plan to look for the people who originated these ideas, or who actually, when we are part of the organization already, right? This is your question.
Mm-hmm.
Can you confirm?
Yes.
Yeah. So for this purpose, I said that we need to distinguish between a project manager who has just joined your organization for this particular. He's actually hired for this particular project. So he was unaware probably about your organization. He just joined as a PM. When the project has already been, what you can say, born, because the business case has already been approved, and the first hiring for this project is the PM himself. So the budget for the PM actually came from that project itself. So now it's the job of the PM to actually get hold of these documents, and from there onward, he will have the justifications, because he has to know about the project. Either sponsor will tell him that what has happened prior to your joining, or the first day sponsor will guide him to the documentation, that you have got a lot of documentation to go through, and then you will understand the project. Are you getting the scenario what I just made up, Fatima?
Yes. So if this is the case when already the business case is in place.
Yes.
Yes. If you are working in a company, in a business, like already a business project manager, so who comes to you for the business case? Like it's already developed, because when I study, I have to like business case also.
So in the last module, we studied a bit about the business environment and how our projects are related to the business strategy and the vision, mission, and how do we achieve. So if you are already part of the organization, and now a project has been originated or initiated, and the business case is prepared, and PMI has came to our guidance. The question is, are you the